aquí estoy. Total catastrophe, and it is a crisis. Of a child, right there. All these NGOs, you're fake. It is this, the crisis of children. Good evening to all. I'm Oscar Blue for Real America's Voice News. Today it is, I believe, 8th of October of the year 2023. It is 1835. That is 6:35 in the evening in West Coast time. And I wanted to do this live feed because of the multiple questions and people that they have been asking. This is exacerbated. This is beyond our comprehension. How are we going to be able to stop this? Is it a way to stop it? Why the migration has been so uncontrollably, and it's growing and it's growing and it's growing. And this is, nobody knows. And people are saying, shut down the border. People are saying, close the border. People are yelling continuously, shut down the border, close the border. And I would love just to be simple and explain the facts. It doesn't even matter how much you shout, how much you scream. It is not going to be shut down. It is not going to be closed in terms to the United States. And I'm referencing to the United States itself. It is going to be really difficult for you to understand why this border situation, it is not being controlled. Why is it out of hand? And that there is a reason why. And I have been saying this for years. I have been talking about this for years. It is the global compact of migration. And today, more than ever, it is more important that for us to again address this issue and why it is open, why a lot of people are going to say why it is open, and why the global compact on migration, it is part of the 2030 agenda. It is aligned with the environment, it is aligned with climate change, it is aligned with all the agendas that globally are managed on the 2030 agenda. It is exactly the same. And in part of the global compact on migration, it is aligned with this. So I will go phase by phase. And ultimately, I will read also who is part of the global compact on migration. I will tell you in 2018 who signed it. Ultimately, the map that it shows how many countries in the world itself, how it signed it, and how a lot of countries are pulling out. And how this is an overwhelming factor in why the refugee, system has been hijacked by the United Nations, and it is opening up the borders, and why this is a continuous effect. Before I move forward, I would like to address migration. For me, is a human right, and in those human rights to migrate, there is laws, and we need to obey those laws before we move forward. Like to express that. This is a document that I will put on the screen. I'll put it largely for you to see, and then I will put it small for me to read it. This is a document that it says the Global Compact for Safe and Orderly and Regular Migration. Look at the terms that it says right there. The Global Compact says that it's safe. I think that it's not. Orderly, I think that it's not. Regular, I think that it's not. This is the main issue and the main problem why the United States has this big problem right now at the borders. They're saying why it's open, why it's not being stopped, why Border Patrol agents, they're processing them. Why are doing it is because of this document. So let me just read you a few of what this stands for people to understand. And real quick, I will try to do it real quick. So it says the Global Compact for Safe, Orderly Migration, final draft of the 11th July of 2018. And it says point number 2 right here. It's really important. Point number 2. And what it explains or what it becomes the global compact on migration for people to understand where this is heading and why a lot of countries sign on to it and why a lot of the borders are opened. It says right here that the Global Compact, point number one, rests on the purposes and principles of the Charter of the United Nations, first and foremost. Point number two, it says it also rests on the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the International Covenant of Civil and Political Rights, the International Covenant of Economic and Social and Cultural Rights, the other core international human rights treaties, the United Nations Convention Against Transnational Organized Crime, including the Protocol to Prevent, Suppress, and Punish Trafficking Persons, especially women and children, and the Protocol Against Smuggling of Migrants by Land and Sea and Air. This is ridiculous. The Slavery Convention and the Supplementary Convention of the Abolition of Slavery, the Slave Trade, and the Institutions of Practices similar to slavery, the United Nations Framework Convention of Climate Change, the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, the Paris Agreement, the International Labor Organization Conventions of Promoting Decent Work and Labor Migration, as well as the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, the Addis Ababa Action Agenda, the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction, and the New Urban Agenda. This is the Global Compact of Migration. It is aligned with the 2030 Agenda. It does not even matter what people like continuously say. Close the borders, close the borders. If you are aligned with this, your international immigration law is in the hands of the International Global Compact of Migration, which means that you are going to receive refugees and asylees through every part of your country. And let me just go back to this. Point in page number 5. I will go to page number 5, and it is so important. Page number 5. And I'm so happy that I was, one of the first ones that started informing of this. And it's extremely important for people to understand this. So page number 5. Look at page number 5. And it says objectives for safe and orderly and regular migration. This is the objectives of this safe and orderly migration. Listen to the objectives of the safe and orderly migration. Number one, everything all these objectives that they say on this page, it is a complete blasphemy. It is a lie. Every objective of this particular document, it is all a lie. So give it a like to this video, share this video, like this video, share this video. Let me go to the objectives for people to understand. Objectives for safe and orderly and regular migration. Look at the terms, safe and orderly and regular migration. Now, let me ask my audience, have you seen that this is safe? Have you seen that this is an orderly and regular? Safe. Where enormous trafficking, the organized crime, the cartels have taken over this smuggling and continuous smuggling, trafficking of children, trafficking of people, kidnapping of migrants that they are dying in the Darien Gap, crossing continuously, risking their lives in Central America, South America, risking their lives in the desert in Arizona and desert in Texas. Is this safe? Now, let me just go and read the objectives. Number one, it says, collect and utilize accurate and disaggregated data as a basis for evidence-based policies. Number two, minimize the adverse drivers and structural factors that compel people to leave their country of origin. Number three, provide accurate and timely information of all stages of migration. That is a lie. Number four, ensure that all migrants have proof of legal identity and adequate documentation. That is a lie. Number five, enhance availability and flexibility of pathways for regular migration. That is a lie. Number six, facilitate fair and ethical recruitment of safeguard conditions that ensure decent work. That is a lie. Number seven, address and reduce vulnerabilities in migration. That is a huge lie. Number eight, save lives. My God. Number eight, save lives and establish coordinated international efforts on missing migrants. Huge lie. Number nine, strengthen the transnational response to smuggling of migrants. Humongous lie. Number 10, prevent, combat, and eradicate trafficking in persons in the context of international migration. Is that a lie or is that accurate? Are they doing something about it? Number 11, manage borders in an integrated, secure, and coordinated manner. A lie. Number 12, straighten and certainly and predictability in migration procedures for appropriate screening, assessments, and referral. A lie. Number 13, use migration detention only as a measure of last resort and work towards alternatives. Huge lie. Number 14, enhance consular protection, assistance, and cooperation throughout the migration cycle. Lie. Number 15, provide access to basic service for migrants. Holy cow. Number 16, empower migrants and societies to realize full inclusion and social cohesion. Lie. 17, eliminate all forms of discrimination and promote evidence-based public discourse to shape perceptions of migration. You haven't done a horrible job on that. So that is another lie. 18, invest in skills development and facilitate mutual recognitions of skills, qualifications, and competences. You haven't done that. Number 19, create conditions for migrants and diasporas to fully contribute to sustainable development in all countries. You haven't done that either. Promote faster. Hold on to that. Promote faster, safer, and cheaper transfer of remittances and foster financial inclusion of migrants. 4 years of the Global Compact on Migration that started in 2018, and you haven't done that. Cooperate, yes, in facilitating safe and dignified return and readmission, as well as sustainable reintegration. Establish mechanisms, number 22, for the portably socially security entitlements and earned benefits. And number 23, strengthening international cooperation in global partnerships for safe and orderly and regular migration. Those are the 23 objectives of the Global Compact of Migration. Those are the 23 objectives of the Global Compact of Migration. The one that brought the Global Compact to migration up to the West Hemisphere was Barack Obama. And he, in cahoots with Enrique Peña Nieto, signed into it. The one that signed out of the Global Compact of Migration was Donald Trump. And he signed out not being, I don't want people to be labeling me Trumper extremist. No, I'm just explaining why he signed out. He signed out, and in the United Nations panel, he said, this is not aligned with the United States immigration laws. And he signed out of the Global Compact on Migration. Now, these are the 23 objectives. I'm going to go one by one by one. Now, I want you to understand what is the Global Compact on Migration. And I will put a really small video right here for people to understand this. Because a lot of people say, like, why it's open, why it's open. This is the reason why. This is the video. This is the page of the Global Compact on Migration of IOM, the International Immigration of the United Nations. You see right here, Global Compact on Migration gives a large explanation for people to understand right there. Let me just open it up a little bit right there. You can see it. Now, I will put the video on for you guys to understand what is the Global Compact of Migration. In this video, you will analyze and understand what are the purposes. And look at what it says right here on the top. Migration in the 2030 agenda. This is part of the globalist agenda. And to put people through suffering, through borders, this is their idea of the new immigration. Completely the opposite of the 23 objectives that I just told you. Have you seen those 23 objectives of the Global Compact of Migration being accurate to human beings and people? That is the number one question that I'm seeing. Have you seen migrants safe? Have you seen migrants not risking their lives? Have you seen an orderly, regular migration and safe? The most important one, safe in the whole continent and in the whole world. Have you seen that? Now, why am I saying have you seen this? Because I will show you the map of all the countries that sign into this global compact, and they're making a profit out of human misery and out of human beings. That is what it is. This is an explanation of a video of the global compact. I will put it for you guys to see.
Migration is a global phenomenon that touches us all. Many of us know someone who has moved to another country or have migrated ourselves. By embracing the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and its 17 Sustainable Development Goals, we have an unmissable opportunity to harness the development potential of migration, to support beneficial outcomes, starting with reducing inequalities and putting the right policies in place to ensure safer, more orderly and regular migration. Migration has been a long-standing coping strategy for people to pull themselves out of poverty, to cope with lack of basic infrastructure, or search for better opportunities. People's reasons to move can also be influenced by conflict, natural hazards, or environmental conditions linked to climate change. And in a global context of rapid urbanization, movement of people is increasingly taking place to cities and urban areas, enriching local communities and societies, both where migrants are and where they come from. The knowledge, skills and experience that migrants bring and gain in new places contribute to the labour force in key sectors such as health, and play a vital role in building diverse and productive societies. Migration can empower women economically and socially and help people realise their personal aspirations and educational potential. This encourages innovation, which benefits science, technology and industry. With increased earnings, migrants are able to send financial support to family members back home. This is critical to help reduce hunger and strengthen the resilience and sustainability of poorer communities. But none of these benefits are guaranteed. We can only achieve all of this by upholding human rights, fostering peace and security, ensuring equal access to justice and protection from exploitation for all. We also need to build strong partnerships in our cities, within our countries and regions, and globally through international cooperation. Migration is everyone's business. Together.
Wow. Let me just return this. Let me just, I want people to understand, because it looks so beautiful, huh? It looks so nice. The way that they put it out there, it looks so beautiful. The 23 objectives that I just read to you about the United Nations Global Compact, they look so beautiful. You hear them and you're like, wow, man, you're wowed. Really, you're wowed. But when you go to the Darien Gap, as we have documented, migrants found without life, that they lost their lives, children that they're suffering, children that they are suffering in this migration, children walking on caravans, women walking on caravans, pregnant women walking through the Darien Gap, through jungles, through sea, migrants dying on the deserts of Arizona, migrants dying on the rivers that are crossing through Eagle Pass, migrants losing their lives in the deserts of Texas, migrants being kidnapped, migrants using, the only resource that they think of transportation, that is coyotes and traffickers, and being let behind a tractor trailer. When you put that into context and you hear this, you're like, that's not possible. This looks really nice. This looks beautiful. This explanation that is in the page of the United Nations of the Global Compact on Migration, it looks beautiful, man. It sounds beautiful. But it's everything around. It is a complete nightmare. This is the number one problem. Now, let me just go back to this video right here. And let me just listen to the last word that this person says on this video. Listen to what she says.
Migration is everyone's business.
What it says on the bottom. Let me just put it up. What says right there? Can somebody read it right there? Migration is everyone's business. Migration is everyone's business. People are businesses. Now, that's what it says right there in the bottom. It is a human industry for these corporations. It is not about providing a better life for the migrants themselves in their own native countries, or to safeguard them from critical persecution. It is everybody's business right there. It says, look at that. Now, I want to critically explain why the United States is having this problem. And a lot of the situations which a lot of the people do not understand, it's why the United States is having this problem. And I will try to go right here. Yes, right here. We are right here. Here we are. A lot of people are saying, like, why? So I told you that the past president, Donald Trump, did not sign this global compact. He knew that a lot of the situations were going to happen at his borders or at his southern border. So he didn't sign it. Joe Biden came in and immediately he signed onto it. And he's a collaborator. A lot of people do not know this. But behind closed doors, this is what Joe Biden did. And a lot of people were like, why do we have this huge influx of migration and it is not being documented and it is not being reduced? Why? This is a document that is clearly explains right here. And let me just put it right here, open up, and then I will put it right here side by side. For people to, I will read it right now for people to understand why. And it says that revised national statement of the United States of America for the adoption. Look at that. Look what it says. The adoption of the global compact of safe and orderly regular migration. When did they sign it? When it was reenacted. That it was on December 17th on 2021. And it says the introduction. I will read the introduction for people to understand. The Biden-Harris administration is committed to safe, orderly, and humane migration around the world. Not only that, it says, including the United States of America. It is in its very first days, it says, of the administration throughout a series of migration and protection focused executive orders, President Biden established the framework for the United States to recommit to work collaboratively with governments, civil society, international organizations, and other partners to support humane migration, address the root causes of irregular migration, collaboratively manage migration in the region, rebuild the U.S. refugee admissions program and other legal pathways for protection and migration to restore faith in the U.S. immigration system, include the integrate the new U.S. citizens into civic life, protect child migrants. Wow. Protect child migrants and support family unity. I will read the other paragraph just for you guys to understand. It says, in February 2021, the executive order on creating a comprehensive regional framework of migration, the president reiterated our nation's history and values surrounding migration reminds us that for generations, immigrants have come to the United States with little more than the clothes on their backpacks, hope in their hearts, and desire to claim their own piece of the American dream. These mothers, fathers, sons, and daughters have made our nation better and stronger. The United States is also a country with borders, with laws that must be enforced. Securing our borders does not require us to ignore humanity of those who seek to cross them. On the opposite is true. That is the statement of the Biden-Harris administration. And that is the reason why you have a massive influx into your country right now. A lot of people saying, screaming, close the border, shut down the border. As long as you are in the global compact and you're a collaborator of the global compact of migration, somebody saying make it bigger right there. As long as you are a collaborator of the global compact of migration, you will have a massive, massive influx of migrants coming in. And that it is not only the narrative right here that we have a problem, is the way that the United Nations that is portraying this migration. They're portraying it like they're humanitarian, that they're doing a great job, that they're safeguarding migrants, that they're treating them with, legal pathways, that they are safe, orderly, humane, regular migration, safe. The number one thing that they say and they preach and they say continuously, safe, safe. It is completely unsafe. We have shown you the risk and the vulnerabilities of migrants, that they are being kidnapped, extortion, and ultimately the cartel that is the one that is making billions out of this humanitarian crisis. And their other objective is to combat the smuggling and the trafficking of people. How is that going, by the way, to the United Nations, I say? How is that going, by the way? That's one of the things that I wanted to show you. How the Biden administration was and is a collaborator of the global compact of migration. And this is the number one reason why you have a massive influx into your borders. Now, if we go back, this is another document that I would like to show you. If we go back to when the past president, that I believe, Donald Trump, this is how it looked like in 2018. This is how it looked like. And let me just explain to you how this was, how many were nay, how many were yes and against it. And let me just, right here. So it says right here on the top, on December 19, 2018, the United Nations General Assembly endorsed a compact throughout a vote. 152 countries voted in favor of the resolution to endorse it, while the United States, Hungary, Israel, Czech Republic, and Poland voted against it, and 12 countries abstained the vote. This comes with the 23 objectives that are listed on the drafted agreement. You guys know how, the 23 objectives that I just shown you. This is how it looks, and until now, how it looks right now, but take away the red of the United States of America. Why take away the red? Let me explain to you why. Because this was in 2018. Now it is 2023. In 2018, you will have people that voted for it are green. People that voted against it are red. People that abstained from voting are yellow. And people that did not attend are gray. This is in 2018, when the United States was not part of the global compact of migration. Now that the United States is part of the global compact of migration, the whole continent of America, it is green. Why? Because the United States is not red anymore. The United States is collaborator of the global compact of migration. This is the reason why the whole situation and the whole continent has a huge problem. Now, what you will look right here in the middle, And there's people that did not participate on this. Why they did not participate? And you will look right here in the middle. This is a canal right here. If you look right there, a canal. And this is the canal that people did not attend. And who were there that they were not attended? Costa Rica and Panama. Critical, extremely critical, this pathway right here, for people to know that from here, this little pathway, it is the open door for the mass migration through the continent of Europe into the West, into the continent of America, and from here, the entrance into Mexico and into the United States of America. Now, the United States is not red. The United States is green. The United States collaborated with the Global Compact on Migration, as I just read to you, under the Biden-Harris administration. And this is really important for people to understand. I will get to the other objective. As we are going after 4 years of this global compact, how much hasn't been reached and how much has been done in a positive manner or in a negative manner? And this is the page of the OIM Regional Office for Central North America and the Caribbean. It says, after 4 years, right here on the bottom, after 4 years, how much progress has been made in the implementation of the Global Compact on Migration? And it will show you right here all the supposed progress that it has been done. And on the top, it says something that is extremely important and critical. And it is the commitments of what they have been made. It says that the United Nations Regional Network of Migration, meanwhile, made a commitment to organize an annual meeting for a joint dialogue between open and permanent dialogue mechanism of civil society governments from Americas. The annual meeting will allow a reflection to implementation of the compact recommendations, resulting in a review. More than 20 replicable practices from states and civil societies of the implementation of the compact were published in Restorative Practices. 8 UN networks on migration have been established in Belize, Costa Rica, Cuba, El Salvador, Guatemala, Haiti, Mexico, and Panama. Critical, because we need to understand why Panama has a big problem, why Mexico has a big problem, why Central and South America have a big problem with this mass migration. And it is because all of the continent, it is aligned with the Global Compact of Migration. All the continent, it is aligned with the Global Compact of Migration. It says the 6 champion countries. Why they naming the 6 champion countries? Because it's so important that these countries facilitate the entrance into Mexico and into the United States of America. It says in the region, Canada, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Honduras, Mexico, and Panama, by accepting this designation, have voluntarily committed to take more active role in the implementation of the Global Compact. The 6 voluntary reports in the implementation of the compact were submitted to the IMRF, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Honduras, Guatemala, Jamaica, and Panama. Member states were able to complete and update voluntary reports submitted during the 2021 regional report. Hopefully, after this explanation that people are watching right now as we are doing this video, you will understand that the number one problem of this immigration influx is not people getting an opportunity for a better life. Everybody deserves an opportunity for a better life. Migration, in my perception, is a human right. But in those human rights, there's laws. And what the United Nations, it is portraying in their 23 objectives, it is upside down. They're saying that they want to combat the trafficking, that they want to combat the organized crime and criminal organizations for trafficking children and trafficking women and trafficking human beings. and also that they want to help and facilitate for them to arrive safely. And when they are arriving safely, everybody is going to be committed to help and to endure work facilities and educational facilities and health facilities for every single one of them. Have you seen that the past 4 years? Safe and orderly migration, it is not what the United Nations is portraying. Funds to the NGOs, yes, millions and millions of dollars to these NGOs that they're profiting out of human misery. Not only that, these international organizations that they're profiting also out of this humanitarian crisis that is consistently coexisting because of their 2030 global migration agenda. Everybody deserves a better right to migrate. Is this the right way? I will ask yourself this question. Is this the right, correct way to migrate through the continent, walking through a jungle, through a river, through a mudslide with your child, walking through multiple caravans, through Central America, South America, smuggling yourself in the back of a tractor trailer, being trafficked through another country from Guatemala to Mexico, walking and hiding yourself from authorities in Mexico, arriving to the borders with Mexico and the United States and not knowing what can happen. And the only thing that you can use, it is a coyote to take you to a place that you can run and go and plead for asylum and refugee desperately to another country, jumping on trains to get to a border. Is this what the United Nations has promoted? There is their documents. I'm not lying. That is what they say about their global compact of migration. And look at us now, 4 years after this gigantic agreement that the whole world has signed onto it. And now a lot of countries are signing out because they know that this is a humongous, humongous problem. That the only ones that they're profiting out of human beings and out of migrants are these international organizations and ultimately the cartel. Meanwhile, people are struggling to get to a better life. Meanwhile, people are fighting to get to another country to get to a better life. Meanwhile, people are risking their lives, dying on the jungle and risking their lives continuously. Because of this promotion, people are dying. And immigration, it is not what they are portraying to be. This is false advertisement, as what they're saying. False advertisement to say it is going to be just a walk in the park in the Darien. It's going to be 2 days and you're going to make it. The cartels and the organized crime promote that in Necoclí, in Colombia, tell you it's going to be easy. Just walk in the park. And it's the most horrible and terrifying journey that they have gone through in their lives. When they say it's going to be easy just getting out of the Darien, it takes 2 to 3 days to get out of there. Also, when you get to the migrant camps, another 2 to 3 days struggling without food, without water. Panamanian government can do so much. But these international organizations, they are on the right, correct place, on the right strategic correct place. But they are not at the right, correct place, where is their native countries. When they're struggling in Venezuela, I have asked so many thousands of migrants of Venezuela, is there human rights in Venezuela? And they say, no, there is not. So why the United Nations and all these international organizations, which they are pandering in their manifesto of the Global Compact of Migration, why are they not protecting human rights inside of Venezuela, where there's a huge dictator taking away the rights of people? In Cuba, with Díaz-Canel, he has implemented a law for people to not protest and for not go against the government if they do not disagree because of the communist regime. Why people are not defending these the international organizations inside of their countries? Human profit, huge business, huge industry, huge industry. And remember, as I said in the past video, which I did, the one that brought this idea of the Global Compact to the West Hemisphere, it was Barack Obama. For me, in my eyes, it's my perception and in my opinion, he is the worst president in American history. He's the one that caused more wars in the world. He's the one that caused a failed war with the cartels in our country of Mexico, bringing Fast and the Furious. He's the one that deported more Latinos and more Mexicans and mistreated more Latinos and more Mexicans in history, more than 5 million. He's the most racist president towards Latinos and Mexicans. But he's the one that more irresponsibly treated migrants in the immigration issue. He's the one that more irresponsibly assured that there was going to be a solution. He's the one that more irresponsibly never brought a solution to safeguard migrants and to migrate into a better place, into a better life. That same idea, it is a copy paste of what is happening right now with the Biden administration. We knew before he got into office that he was going to reenact and he was going to collaborate again with the Global Compact on Migration. So you want to know why this is continuing. You want to know why this is constantly happening, and you want to know why this hasn't been, and this is difficultly, having difficulty ultimately to assure and to have a process into the borders, a process of regular migration. It is because of this, the Global Compact on Migration. So for every journalist of mainstream media that has the possibility and the ability to go to the White House and to address Karine Jean-Pierre, to all the senators that they are continuously asking Alejandro Mayorkas and questioning him, and that have exposed his incompetence to handle this border crisis and the lack of attention and sensitivity to migrants as they are going through a horrible humanitarian crisis, I will make a suggestion for all of you, to all you senators, Democrats and Republicans and independents. If you're sitting down in the White House with Karine Jean-Pierre, do not ask her if the border is open or if the border is closed. It is a question that everybody knows the answer of, which is going to come out of her mouth. And it is a question that everybody knows how it's going to be answered. If you're sitting in front of also of Alejandro Mayorkas, do not ask him if the border is open or if the border is closed. It is a question that also ultimately he will know how to answer it, and he will know how to get around it. The question that you need to ask to these individuals, it is this. Sit down in front of them and say, Ms. Pierre, Mr. Mayorkas, is the United States a collaborator of the Global Compact of Migration? And if they say yes, say that is the reason why the massive influx, it is coming to our southern border, right? And if they say yes, that is the reason why you have this problem. If they don't answer it, there is the reason why. That is the question that you need to ask. Not the same question in question. The border open, the border is closed. The border open, the border is closed. We already know that. We already know that issue. We already know that they're going to go around it. We already know that they are going to go around that question, and they're not going to answer to you in front of your face and looking in your eyes and tell you, no, there's no trafficking. You're creating hysteria. You are a conspiracy theorist. You are a fear monger. You are a white supremacist, a white imperialist. You're a xenophobic, transphobic, homophobic, pronomphobic, fatphobic, fascist, racist, narcissist, bigot. You're all of that. They're going to tell you that. But if you ask this question, everybody will know immediately why this is still coexistent. It's not denying people's coming in and asking for asylum and refugee, no. But if they say yes, we are a collaborator of the Global Compact, you can ask another question. Why the Global Compact says that it needs to come in a safe and orderly and regulated migration. Do you have that in the southern border? Do you have that right there? Because migrants are dying. People are being kidnapped. Migrants are being extortion. Migrants are going through the worst journey of their lives. And if that is the Global Compact on Migration, I cannot even imagine what is a human right, because those human rights are being so-called protected by the human rights organization of the world, that is the United Nations. So where are you? That is the question that it needs to be asked. Not if it's closed, not if it's open, not if it's shut down, close the border. We already know that. The statement, we already know the argument, we already know the discussion. We already know you're preaching to the same choir. No, find the root of the problem. And the root of this problem where people are risking their lives is to completely construct and rebuild. If you are going to implement a compact on migration, effortlessly do it by why it stands. And what it stands, it is completely the opposite of what the United Nations is doing. The United Nations is not applying that is safe, that is an orderly, documented, peacefully, and that you will support every necessity that are there it is in every country. And it is not that true. It is a complete oblivious lie. That is what it needs to be asked. How's everybody doing? I'm Oscar Blue for Real America's Voice News. Thank you so much for joining in on this evening. It is 7:20 in the evening over here in Tijuana, Baja California. Ultimately, this is a explanation of what it is going on with the southern border of the United States, and also for borders that they are around the whole continent. I'm a migrant myself. I'm a pro-migrant myself. I think migration is a human right, but then those human rights, there are laws, and we need to obey those laws and those processes. And completely the opposite of what the United Nations is doing and is preaching. The United Nations is saying that they are going to basically, say that this is an orderly, documented, peaceful, regular, and safe migration. And it is completely the opposite. Completely the opposite. And, we have been horribly attacked by these organizations because we expose what they are not doing. They have millions and millions of dollars in their pockets. They have a beautiful United Nations complex in Panama that is called Clayton, Panama. It's big. It is huge. It used to be a military station for the United States. And, I have broadcasts from there, and I have done multiple live feeds from there in Panama, showing and providing also information and videos for people to understand why there's no migrant camps in there. Also, I have walked through caravans where, migrant children their feet, they're cutting with blood, and you will see vehicles of the United Nations just passing by, not helping, not providing help, immediate help. This is the problem. If they are going to create a program to facilitate an orderly and regular and safe migration, why is not that the issue right now? That is the problem. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue. I will take a few comments before I leave this live feed. It is 47 minutes with 49 seconds going into this live feed. It is nice to say hello to you guys on this Sunday evening, Sunday afternoon. It is 7:22 right now on this evening. Hopefully this explanation, it is part of it. Somebody saying the Catholic Church is sadly behind a lot of this as well. No, it's not the Catholic Church. It's Catholic Charities. It's Catholic Charities. It's not the Catholic Church. Stop calling it trafficking. It's slavery. That's your perception. Everybody has their own perception. Respect your opinion. You respect mine. This is okay. Let me just, no, it's not. This is not the comment. Where was it? Okay, here it is. Oscar, what changes would you suggest be made in this situation? Wow. You're asking me for a big one. I think that migration is a human right. And I think that everybody deserves a better opportunity in life. Ultimately, we have a big organization that fights for human rights that, is implemented in the world, that is the United Nations, supposedly, right? So it is now the situation that we know, where is the exodus of people? And sadly, it's the Venezuela people that is, running out and running away from communism and this dictator that is actually destroying the economy. You have a lot of migrants coming from all across the world. And, you have migrants from Afghanistan not knowing they're running away and they're going through the Darien Gap and they want to go to the United States, not knowing that this catastrophe that happened over there in Afghanistan was, sadly done by Joe Biden. And if you go to Haiti, Haiti was, it's a catastrophe of an economy, and the Clintons had to do a lot with it. If you go to Venezuela, it is a crisis of communism, and you have a dictator, Nicolás Maduro. If you go to Cuba, you have the Castros that have implemented this communist system and this infestation and this cancer in Cuba. And ultimately, the problem right now is Diaz-Canel. You know the problems. If you know the problem, why not fix it? It's not a change. What we can do to change the situation is how do we resolve this issue and how do we resolve this problem? It is real easy in Venezuela. Remove the dictator and bring back the Venezuela that it was one of the most richest countries in the globe. People will go back to their country. Venezuela is a beautiful, beautiful country. Haiti has a lot to offer also. But if Haiti can be exploded into a tourist attraction in the world, but it's not, because it's full with corruption and it's full with a system that is just so corrupt. Also, Central and South America, moving forward, the only one that is moving forward is El Salvador with a great president like Nayib Bukele. For us to create, for this to be changing, and for this to be completely changed, it is the United Nations that is the number one problem of this. Or they fix their own critical agreements of this global compact, and they really apply what they need to be applying, and they really invest on where they really need to invest. And that will be one of the things that it can be fixed. But ultimately, they do not want to fix it. The right thing is to create this pathway for people to be safe in their own countries and to provide economy and to be happy. If you ask Cubans, what do you prefer, Miami, La Florida, or La Habana? What do you think they're going to say? They're going to say, I prefer La Habana, Cuba. But they cannot live there. They cannot live out of a bag of rice and a deodorant and a bag of beans. They cannot live through that. The problem, everybody knows the problem, where the problem is. Why is it not taken out? Why is it not resolved? Why they don't remove those people? That is the problem. And has been for years. It has been for years. I think that it's time for the people of Cuba, for the people of Venezuela to fight against this communist dictator. And you know, the sad thing about this is what I was mentioning in the past video that I did, was that the Biden administration sat down with the Maduro administration and they had a dialogue. That is one of the biggest deceptions, I believe, and the biggest. I was so disappointed. I've been disappointed with this administration since the start, but I was so disappointed. You cannot sit down with a dictator and have a conversation. What is the deal with that? And you're negotiating with a dictator. And not only that, the Biden administration has released a statement to say to all Venezuelans, right now it is safe to go back to your country. No, it is not. They're still under the communist regime. You get paid $4 a month to survive. You cannot even afford a package of eggs to make for food at your home. To go to the doctor, it's $30 to $40. How are you going to afford that? Only for the rich, not for the poor. This is what the most sad thing about it. That the Biden administration has sat down with this dictator to have an agreement for people to return back. It's the most saddest thing. Thank you so much. Nice to say hello to you guys. A lot of questions have been asked about the Israel situation. I will not get into that. It's really delicate to talk about that. And it's really delicate to be explaining about, this accurate situation. The only thing that I can tell you is that $6 billion were given out by the Biden administration to Iran. Guess where those $6 billion went? Just guess where? I'm just, you know, that music from Jeopardy? I want to ask you that question. Guess where that money went? God bless you all. Thank you so much for joining in. Hopefully, you guys will have a beautiful Sunday evening and a beautiful evening for every single one of you. Hope that I explained enough correctly, or if I missed something about the explanation of the Global Compact on migration, hopefully you guys will understand why this is a problem. And it is a problem that got out of hand. This international organization created this agreement for giving opportunity to refugees, which I think, it sounds phenomenal. It sounds friendly. It sounds humanitarian. It sounds loving. It sounds everything. It is the complete opposite. It is a nightmare for migrants and refugees, how they have gone through and the pathways that they have been hijacked by the organized crime and the cartel, that the most vulnerable and the most affected are the migrants themselves. God bless you all. Be sure to follow all of our pages in our pages. I want to say thank you. We reached up more than 100,000 followers in Facebook. Finally, we were stopped from growing. I don't know how many years. And, now we have reached more than 100,000. So I want to say thank you to all of my audience and welcome all the audience that is new to our platform. Also, subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Hit that like button, hit that bell button, and also subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Hello to everybody at Twitter. I will be more active at Twitter. I'm live at Twitter right now, or X, as they call it. Be sure to follow all of our platforms. Instagram, I have an Instagram. It's called Oscar El Blue Ramirez. You can follow me that one. And also there's an Instagram that's called Oscar El Blue Team. I will make an Instagram that is called Oscar Blue Friends. That is going to be private, and I will be sharing, content that is only for exclusive, people that they want to see a little bit of my life and all these kind of things. And messages, I will give personal messages as to make your dreams come true, and supportive and also, positive messages for people to just motivate themselves on a daily basis. God bless you guys. Thank you so much for joining in. 57 minutes in. Thank you, and thank you. It has been a pleasure. Stay safe, and like we always say, people, God's plan is our mission. We're here with at CPAC Mexico with the president of CPAC. Mis amigos migrantes, pues aquí estoy.
Total catastrophe, and it is a crisis.
Of a child right there. All these NGOs, you're fake. It is this, the crisis of children.